We went to Mihir's apartment in Toronto to get a ground reality living and renting in Ontario.
Hello, welcome in.
Hi, I'm Mihir.
Mihir lives in Toronto in a one-bedroom apartment where he pays $1,100, which he rents along with another person who pays the balance.
The space where all the magic happens.
When we found the house, we had 6 people, and then when we landed in Oakville, when we came, they told us there are 10 more people. In total, there were 10 people, which was 4 more than we were promised. And turns out the landlord turned the common spaces into rooms, and there were 2 people in there, which was disturbing at the point because imagine sharing a kitchen with 10 people was impossible.
After living 2 years in Oakville, Mihir moved to Toronto because his landlord in Oakville was planning to increase rent. He is now living in Toronto with a housemate who has converted the living area into his room.
And room for him. So he pays around $700, which is less than what I pay.
I have 3 jobs on campus, so I mostly work there, and rest I don't have the time to work anywhere else.
While living in Oakville, he expressed his frustrations about using a kitchen with 15 other people, leading him to avoid cooking altogether.
Kitchen was a big challenge. We had to come up with cleaning schedules, cooking schedules, and because of that I couldn't cook, so I had to go for a tiffin often, which eventually made my rent go up again.
This is the kitchen. Make sure it's all clean and wiped off.
And when I compare this to Toronto, again, Toronto has its own problems as well. Here, renting is a whole different process. It's you have to go through a rental application, you have to go through your credit checks and everything. You have to show that you make that much. You have to have guarantors if you don't make that much.
He expressed his concerns about certain buildings that don't follow rent control policy.
And there's a problem in Toronto. If the building is not rent controlled, the landlord can change it to whatever she wants, because the by law there's no rent control on it. So if I'm living in this building and I'm paying $2,200 right now, she can change it to $9,000 the next day, and she can be you have to pay for it, or you have to go. Every now and then there's a decrease in rents, but the decrease doesn't mean that it's affordable. It's still really expensive when you think about it as an employee, as a full-time worker. $4,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment is half your salary. How would you survive on it? Being a student, being a entry-level job, whatever you have, basic rent here is $2,400, which is 80% of your income monthly. And it's really difficult for a single individual to live. So most of these apartments are shared with a person. That's why there are more people in a building but less apartments occupied, because there are 2 occupying 1.
Mihir enjoys living in Toronto as opposed to Oakville, but still feels the pressure of having to pay high rents here.